Hey everyone, Michelle Frary here, Member of Parliament for Peterborough Kawartha, and in the last 4 days, every day for the last 4 days, Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives have had a major policy announcement. And, I'm hearing from a lot of older people who watch only mainstream media or who aren't watching social media or who aren't on YouTube, like, what are you guys going to do? What are you going to do? It's critical if you have older parents that you're showing these videos. They're obviously not going through on mainstream media. They're not covering it in the way that they should be covering it. And so it is our duty to ensure that these are released. The election is expected to be called on Sunday by the publicly unelected Prime Minister. And yes, I will keep calling him that because that's what he is, Mark Carney. And we will have a full website with everything where it is, but I think it's important to get these policy announcements out. And I think the other thing that people need to realize is the Liberals are literally just plagiarizing our policy announcements. That's all Mark Carney is doing. He doesn't have any ideas of his own. Well, he does have ideas of his own, but he knows they won't get him reelected. So he's lying to the people, telling them he will do conservative policies when we know, in fact, he won't, i.e. the carbon tax, right? Here's the other thing. He was asked point blank, I believe it was yesterday or the day before, he said, are you going to support resource development pipelines? And he's like, yeah. However, he's not, because he never has, and that's his ideology, is to keep energy in the ground, especially Canadian energy. He likes to support foreign energy because his assets in the company that he was chair of, Brookfield, benefits from those deals. He doesn't benefit when Canada benefits. He benefits when outside of Canada, Brookfield in particular, a $1 trillion company that he's chair of, benefits. And so even his own Liberal environment minister has said they will cap, his words, they will keep the cap on oil and gas. So how are you going to develop pipelines, buddy, if you're going to keep the cap on? You can't talk out of both sides of your mouth. So let's break down some of these policy announcements. So one of the biggest problems for many of the workers in Canada, and we saw this significantly in COVID, people don't want handouts. They want to be able to work and they want to be able to do their job. Well, if you're a developer or a builder or you work in a mine and you can't get permits, you can't do your job. Or if those permits cost thousands and thousands of dollars and years to get, you will give up. You will then have to unemploy or lay off your workers, and you won't be able to move Canada further along. So one of the huge announcements that Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives have made is get shovel ready. So instead of, did you know, this is crazy to me, that in Canada it takes more than 17 years to get the average mine approved and built in Canada. We are the second slowest permits. We have the second slowest permits in the OECD. This is crazy. If you don't know about permits, or just go ask somebody who works in the trades about this. I hear this all the time. It is painful. So let's deal with that. Let's make this permit process significantly faster and stop with the bureaucracy. It's absolutely insane. The other thing that I want to talk about, so we had, in the last 4 days, we had cutting the industrial carbon tax. We had the Ring of Fire. I want to talk about that. We had shovel-ready permits, and today we had boots, not suits. So those are the 4 policy announcements that have been made in the last 4 days. Huge policy announcements that will absolutely transform Canada. Do you know? I was shocked. I was talking to a group of middle-aged men yesterday, and they had no idea what the Ring of Fire was. My kids didn't know what the Ring of Fire is. Canada has this incredible 5,000. Let me make sure I have the correct number here for you guys. Okay, so it's 500 kilometers north of Thunder Bay. The Ring of Fire is one of the largest untapped areas for rare earth metals in the world, hosting tens of billions of dollars of resource wealth. Some predict it is worth $1 trillion. This is absolutely transformative for Canada, for the North, for First Nations. You want to talk about our sovereignty. In fact, NATO has identified these critical minerals that are in the ground that nobody can touch because of liberal ideology as being essential towards our collective defense. A conservative government investment in this road and project will count towards the calculation of Canada hitting its 2% of GDP commitment on defense. Okay? So what's the deal with the Ring of Fire? We have all of these critical minerals sitting in the ground. Everybody knows about it. Everybody knows that it would be just explosive in terms of our autonomy, our sovereignty, our wealth. It would transform our entire country. Why are we not excavating it? Why are we not developing those resources? In fact, the highway to get to those critical minerals, to even get to the Ring of Fire, has not even been granted the permit. And you wonder why we are not progressing. You wonder why we are in such a weak and vulnerable state against Donald Trump and his threatened tariffs. Because we don't even develop what we have. It is insane. We should be the richest country in the world. We literally have everything everybody else wants and needs, and we don't touch it. It makes no sense. So that is going to be one of the big announcements of policies that we will do when we form government. So you have to vote for us to be able to do that. And that would include committing $1 billion to develop the road into this, as well as ensuring that within 6 months something is done. And this is, I mean, Doug Ford has been talking about this. Everybody's been talking about this. This is transformative. The Ring of Fire is a massive policy announcement that will benefit our entire country and transform the lives of Northern Ontarios as well as First Nations who have openly supported this. Okay, so the other one is Boots Not Suits. So this is also ties into the Ring of Fire. So Boots Not Suits is a commitment by the Conservative government to keep the $4,000 apprenticeship grants that the Liberals are removing. We want to encourage kids to be apprentices and to go into the trades because guess what? We need more infrastructure. We need the Ring of Fire. We need mines. We need houses. We need all of these things built to meet the demand of what Canadians need and to bring down the cost of everything. Right? So right now you don't have enough houses because, well, quite frankly, the Liberals and NDP destroyed immigration. And here we are. Here we are. So the Boots Not Suits is also an amazing announcement. So we would provide funds to union training halls for up to 350,000 workers. We would rapid class the EI while people were while they were waiting. And this is one of my favorite parts of this announcement. Work with the provinces so you can work across the country without having to get retrained in a different province or a different territory. It's insane, right? So if you're from Ontario and you want to go out to Fort Mac and you have to get recertified and do all this testing that costs money and time, that's stupid. You shouldn't have to do that, right? You should be trained in one province and those should be the standards across the country so that you can go and work and support your country wherever you are. So I really think that is critical. So I wanted to touch base with you on all of these things. Guys, pay attention. I can't stress this enough. And I just want to end with this. Mark Carney is so deceitful and distrustful. He came out just yesterday and literally used the exact same words as Pierre Poilievre, identical words. And he said, so many Canadians are doing everything right. They've worked hard, secured good jobs, and saved for the future, but often it's not enough to buy a home. It shouldn't be this way, so we're making it easier to buy your first home and removing the GST on homes up to $1 million. That policy was put forth by us and Pierre Poilievre just months ago where the Liberals voted it down. In fact, Randy Boissonnault wrote a scathing letter about how dangerous it would be to do that. And now he's presenting it as his own policy. And let's not forget, why can't young people afford a home? I went out the other night door knocking. I met two young men, two young tradesmen. They were incredible. And I asked them, do you own a home? And they laugh. They think it's a joke. Why is it like that? Why is it like that, Mark Carney? Because your financial advice to Justin Trudeau put us here. This is not happenstance, folks. This is not, oh, it's just an everybody's problem. No, we have more land than anyone else, and yet people can't afford to buy a home. Why? Because you drove up the cost of everything, lumber, all of the things that it costs to build homes, and you made it impossible to put shovels in the ground, to get permits, to approve it, to get things going, and you made it too expensive for developers and buyers to do it, and so they walked away. It is insane what has happened, and to blame it on some happenstance thing is pure gaslighting. So conservatives are fighting for you. Liberals do not have policies of their own. They are thieves. So pay attention. Push the media to cover these policy announcements. They are every day. Check Pierre Poilievre's Facebook page. He goes live. It's live. It's there for you on Facebook, on YouTube, on X. And I challenge the media to ensure that they are fully covering these policy announcements and calling out the Liberals for stealing them when they do. All you have to do is look at the dates. I put these on. So Pierre Poilievre's story post on December 12th, I have to read this date probably. The third month of the 12th day of 2023, 2 years ago. After 8 years of Justin Trudeau, this story is the one I hear everywhere. People are doing everything right, going to school, getting a good job, working hard, and yet still aren't able to own a home. Remove the gatekeepers, get more homes built, restore hope for our young people. And then Mark Carney, on March 20th, writes the same thing. Thief. Okay, you don't want somebody who's dishonest with you. You want somebody who has great ideas and has vision for this country to make life better for you and is accountable for your money, not personally benefiting from your money. Stay tuned. More to come.